Hi everyone. I hope your week was good. Today, I had the rather sad duty of actually performing a funeral. It was for a person that many of you probably don't know. She was 99 years old, or pretty close to it. Can you imagine 99 years old? I've been visiting her for about 6 years, ever since I got here. And she was a really nice old lady. We always had good conversations and really enjoyed each other's company. I remember one time when we were talking about strawberries. And it seems like a funny thing to talk about, but she always talking about strawberries because she wanted to taste a real strawberry again, not the stuff you buy in the store. That stuff, she thought, never tasted quite right. Tasted like wood or sour or just didn't taste like anything. Well, it so happened that I had a basket of strawberries in my van, which I had picked probably just the day before from our own little patch of strawberries in our garden. And that year, the strawberries were really good. There was lots of them and they were tasty, and I had so many I was just bringing some in for lunch. And I thought, well, if she wants fresh strawberries again, maybe I'll just give her mine. So I ran outside and I grabbed the basket of strawberries and I gave them to her. And she was so delighted. She often talked about those strawberries, and it always made my heart happy that I was able to do that for her. Has that ever happened to you where some way or other you were able to do something really nice for someone and it wasn't even something that you planned to do? It was just something that happened? That happens to me sometimes, not just that one story, but it's happened to me more than once, where suddenly there's this chance to do something really nice for someone. I never planned for it, and yet there it is, a chance to be kind and bring some joy into someone else's life. Well, I think you could say that that's the working of the Spirit in our life, God's Holy Spirit. Today is Pentecost, or Sunday will be, and we celebrate the day where last week Jesus promised that the Holy Spirit would come to his disciples, and this week it did. That's the story we hear in our Sunday reading, the coming of the Holy Spirit. And we often say that the Holy Spirit is the thing that guides us. It's God's Spirit which guides us to do the very best things we do in life. Whether we're kind to someone, or whether we say something nice, or when we're given a chance to be kind and we take it, all of those things happen because the Spirit helps it to happen and helps us to be kind. I didn't actually have to offer those strawberries. She didn't know I had them, and she probably would have been fine if I kept them. And another day, maybe I would have said, no, those strawberries are mine. I'm not gonna share those. But that day, I just felt really like the right thing to do. Those kinds of opportunities are things that come about because the Spirit is at work in our midst, giving us chances to be kind to one another and loving, to build community, to help one another, and by doing all of that, showing God's love. The Spirit is what allows us to show God's love in the most meaningful ways we can. It also often helps us do things that we don't think we'd be able to do, that we're either too scared to do, or maybe we think we're too young to do, or too old, or whatever the case might be. We think we're not good enough. But the Spirit works in us, and suddenly these opportunities to show God's love present themselves, and we can take them. And by so doing, we can really be agents of God's love in the world. So the next time you see a chance to be kind, even if it's something you didn't think of or plan for, take it. Because really, that's probably the Spirit giving you another chance to show God's love to somebody who really needs it in that moment. So whether it's drawing someone a picture, or giving them some words of encouragement, or whatever it might be, giving them a present, helping them, whatever the Spirit is able to offer up in that moment, don't be afraid. Take it. Because the Spirit will help you do the thing that is being offered to you. The Spirit will give you strength and courage, and it will give you a chance to really show God's love in a real and meaningful way. So watch for those times. Watch for the Spirit working. Watch for all those ways in which you can be kind and loving, and then you can show those around you in the world just what it means to be a loving child of God who trusts in the Spirit and lets the Spirit work in their lives. So I'm going to read you now chapter 6 already. It's crazy, but chapter 6 of the Tales of Peter. Peter's first step into the cave brought with it the smell of soil and mildew. If you remember last week, he was asked to go into the cave by Noah to go see if he could find the unicorns, Bertha and Greg, that Noah had been searching for. So let's start again. Peter's first step into the cave brought with it the smell of soil and mildew. Not wholly unpleasant smells, but ones that reminded Peter of gardens, which frightened him because of the crawling ants and the wriggling worms and the nasty-eyed, not-to-be-trusted spiders. That sent a shiver down Peter's spine. He took a deep breath and then took a few more steps into the mouth of the cave. We need to take a moment to put something into perspective. Remember when I said that Peter was afraid of everything? Everything? Well, it should be noted that the boy who was afraid of everything has to this point jumped out a window, traversed the bridge between worlds, trusted a talking hummingbird to lead him across seemingly endless grassy plains, met Noah without fainting, followed said Noah, and is now walking into a cave to hunt unicorn. Needless to say, Peter has made some huge strides, and this is only chapter 6. But we had best not tell him all of this. He still thinks he's a coward. He doesn't realize quite yet how brave he truly is. I am afraid if we tell him, he might remember that he is supposed to be scared and then beg to be taken back home. Can you promise not to tell him? Good. Instead, let's just cheer him on. The further Peter went into the cave, the darker it became. Soon there was very little light at all. Peter was trembling from fright. Of all the things he was most scared of, the dark was the worst. Who knew what might be lurking in the darkness? He almost turned back a number of times, but instead he thought of Noah waiting in hope outside the cave, and he thought of the hummingbird so strangely proud of everything he managed to accomplish. Those thoughts gave him strength, and he kept going. Before too long, he discovered what it was that Noah had been talking about. When he first started off, he couldn't even touch the edges of the cave, even when he stretched out his arms on both sides. Now, the walls had closed just a few feet from his shoulders. The ceiling high above him when he had started was now beginning to scrape his head. He was forced to bend low, then he had to turn sideways, then he was trying to slide sideways on his knees, which really didn't work. Then he was stuck. He couldn't for the life of him figure out how he had gotten stuck, but stuck he was, and he was really stuck. He couldn't move forward, and he couldn't seem to free himself enough to move backward. When he realized that, he started to panic. There he was, alone in the pitch-black darkness and stuck. He thought of crying for help, but realized that Noah would not be able to reach him anyway, and the hummingbird was too small to do anything. So instead, he started to cry, there in the darkness. He was sure he was going to die down there, and he missed his mom. Remember when I said we need to encourage Peter? Well, this might be a good time to do that. He needs all the help he can get. Peter wasn't sure how long he was stuck down there. It might have been 5 hours, it might have been 5 days, it might have been 5 minutes. But at some point he realized that the darkness was not completely dark to him. There was a soft, silver glow coming from deep in the cave, and it was getting stronger. Before long, the whole cavern was lit up by the silver light, but Peter couldn't see where it was coming from. As Peter was trying to determine who or what was bearing the light, a soft voice spoke. "Who are you?" Peter tried desperately to peer into the darkness beyond the light, but he still couldn't see anything. "Who said that? Please, is someone there? I'm stuck. Could you help me?" Peter wiggled to show just how stuck he was. "Who are you? Why are you here?" the voice asked again. My name is Peter. I have come looking for 2 unicorns by the name of Bertha and Greg. Why do you seek them? I have a message from Noah. He wants me to tell them that they can go home. The one over the seas is calling them home. That is what Noah said? Nothing else? Not about the need to return with him to Earth, or any of the other worlds? No, nothing like that, just that they can go home. There was a momentary silence. When the voice spoke again, the light intensified. Peter was forced to protect his eyes to the best of his ability. Peter. The light shone even brighter. Even with his eyes closed, the light burned and he whimpered in pain. Peter, the voice said again. Then, without another word, the light subdued, and Peter was able to open his eyes. Follow me, the voice said, and started to move off. But I can't. I'm stuck. Peter suddenly found could move his arms again. The passage seemed to be opening up, or was he shrinking? Either way, he was free. Peter sobbed in relief. The light was moving farther and farther away. Peter ran to catch up. He had a million questions, but thought it better to wait. Wait for what? He thought to himself. That wasn't abundantly clear, but he still felt he should wait, and so walked on in silence. Down, down, down they went, as if they were going down to the very depths of the world. Peter walked in silence, so grateful that he was free that he didn't mind the walk at all. Finally, the light stopped. The voice, soft and deliberate, spoke again. Peter, we are here. But you must promise 2 things before you go in. Oh, okay, said Peter. First, you must always speak the truth, no matter the question. Do you agree? Yes. Second, you can tell no one what you see here, unless those hidden choose to reveal themselves. Your promise is your covenant. Do you promise? Yes, I promise to speak only the truth, and to reveal nothing of what I see here. Good. Then welcome. The back of the cave split open as what looked like a door opened in front of Peter. The light that poured out was warm and golden, not like the cool light that had led Peter through the cave. Peter swallowed, nervous to step through, but he also didn't want to stay in the darkness for even a second longer. He stepped through. What greeted his eyes as he moved through the door of light was beyond anything he could have imagined. Well, I hope everybody has a good week, and we will talk to you again next week. And remember, if the Spirit gives you an opportunity to be kind, or to be loving, to be encouraging, or whatever the Spirit is offering to you, take it, because it's an opportunity to show God's love in the world. Bye for now.